What is going on, my fellow Jets fans? And for the fourth time this season, happy Victory Monday. Welcome to the latest episode of the New York Jets State of Mind podcast. My name is Malcolm Harper, aka MHJetsFan83. You can follow me on X, Instagram, and YouTube at MHJetsFan83. One word, all lowercase. You can find my podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. This episode will also be on my YouTube channel at MHJetsFan83. Before I get to my thoughts on yesterday's game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, if you could do me a huge favor and share my podcast and my social media accounts with not only other Jets fans, but football fans in general, that'd be greatly appreciated. With that said, let's talk about yesterday's game. The Jets defeat the Jaguars by the score of 32-25. The game was not pretty by any stretch of the imagination, but hey, a win is a win. I know there's some Jets fans that are not happy with the fact that they won because they wanted them to lose and get a high draft pick. But let's be honest, the draft's a crapshoot. Not all draft picks are going to pan out. If you're going to root for the Jets to lose, then to get a high draft pick, then I don't even know what to tell you at this point right now. These players have pride in themselves. As you can see with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, they still have pride for this game and they still want to go and play this game. And also for all these players, the tape is pretty much their resume. That whether they're going to be playing for the Jets next season or the other 31 NFL teams, they have to go make business decisions, not only for themselves but for their families as well too. And that's pretty much my take on that. Now, let's get to the game. Vintage Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams ended up getting his 100th career touchdown reception. He had 9 catches for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns, including the great catch by Adams that set it up the game-winning touchdown run by Breece Hall. The offensive line played well. The pass protection held up for the most part. Aaron gave a shout-out to the offensive line in the press conference yesterday, so that was good on Aaron Rodgers' part for him to do that. Big shout-out to Michael Nania on X for the tweet that broke down the blocks made by Olu Fashanu that was playing up against Josh Hines Allen, and then John Simpson, the left guard, pulling the block Travion Walker that helped Aaron Rodgers throw the 71-yard touchdown pass to Devontae Adams down the seam. Final stats for A-Rod. He was 16 for 30 for 289 yards and three touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers was also the leading rusher with 45 yards. Wow. Based upon that, the running game was non-existent. And I think, in my opinion, that Breece Hall is still hurt. So hopefully it's not too serious for him. So let's start with the beginning of the game. The Jaguars were bailed out by a roughing the passer penalty that was for 15 yards by Hassan Reddick and a defensive holding penalty by Sauce Gardner that set it up the opening touchdown on the very next play to put the Jaguars out in front to begin the game 7-0. Also, on the Jets' opening possession, I like the fake punt called to Ashton Davis. That was a nice run that set up the touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson on the Jets' opening drive. I was like, why? Why did we not? I'm sorry. We ended up winning 3 games all year. So I said, why not? We got nothing to lose at this point in the season. So at least the Jets won the turnover battle 2-0. The defense was terrible once again, giving up 25 points. Also gave up 136 yards on the ground on 29 carries. That's 4.7 yards a carry. They had no answer for the rookie wide receiver Brian Thomas out of LSU. He had 10 catches for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. I like the TD pass that A-Rod ended up throwing to Garrett Wilson. And for the new regime that's going to be coming in, your number one priority, you have to extend Garrett Wilson. He now has 84 catches for 933 yards and a career-high 6 touchdowns. He is 67 yards away from being the first player in the history of the Jets to start the first 3 seasons with the Jets with 1,000 yards, barring any injury. And he should be able to do that easily. See, this is the type of player that you need to build around your offense. Obviously, he cares about winning as well. So let's go to the defensive side for a second. And I think that Robert Saleh had a lot to do with the defense during this time with the Jets. You can literally see it on the field since Salah's been fired. The defense has not been the same. At least for the most part, they ended up playing hard for him. And with all due respect to Jeff Ulbrich, he's not a head coach. Let's just call that for what it is. And I don't even know. And at the end of the game, I don't know for the life of me, how do you not know what to do at the end of the game? They should have ran the clock down by kneeling and had the Jags take their timeouts, then for the Jets to kick the field goal and have the Jets have about 15 seconds left. And they would have gone the length of the field. But instead, what do? You give the Jaguars a minute and 5 seconds left with 2 timeouts after that 1 yard TD run by Breece Hall set it up before the previous play with that Devontae Adams' long TD pass. And obviously, the Jaguars ended up letting him score once Breece Hall got into the end zone. Now, on the final Jags possession, the game ended with an interception by Sauce Gardner. His first interception since his rookie year in 2022, and that is 37 games. That is a long time not getting an interception, but big ups to Sauce Gardner for breaking that streak. So Rodgers through 14 games, this is his stats right now. Through 14 games, he has completed 62.5% of his passes for 3,255 yards and 23 touchdowns and 8 picks. A-Rod just needs 753 passing yards more in the final 3 games of the season to break Joe Namath's all-time passing record of 4,007 yards. He needs 9 passing touchdowns to break the team record for most passing touchdowns in franchise history that was set by Ryan Fitzpatrick back in 2015. Last win of the season, Jets fans, remember that. Then the record right now is currently at 31. And you think for just 1 second that Aaron Rodgers can't do it? I think he's going to do it. I know the one thing that the new regime has a huge decision on is to make a decision in regards to what they will do with Aaron Rodgers. Now, as far as the draft goes, with that win, the Jets are now 3-10, and they sit with the number 8 overall pick in next year's NFL draft. So let's go to the injuries for a second. Quentin Williams, he came out of the game with a hamstring injury. He has only missed 1 game in the last 3 seasons, according to Rich Cimini of ESPN. Also, Jalen Mills, the safety that got one of the interceptions in the game, one of the interceptions, by the way, he left with a collarbone injury, and Michael Carter II also left the game with a lower back injury. Braylon Allen, he did leave the game with a back injury, but he was able to actually come back into the game. Okay, in the latest Jets news, they're going to be interviewing ESPN analyst Louis Riddick. When I watch him on ESPN, especially during the draft, that man knows football. And if y'all listen to the last Gangs All Here podcast with Ryan Simpson and Frankie V from U Stadium, Ryan has made a strong case of why Louis Riddick would be a great hire for the GM job for the Jets. Today, the Jets completed their interview with former Falcons GM Thomas Dimitroff. I think I said that correctly, for the GM vacancy. That's all the Jets' latest news that's going on right now. So before I get on out of here, let me get to the favorite part of my podcast, and that's the new follower shout out. And as I always say on this show, I'm a man of the people on this podcast. So each new follower that follows me on X, Instagram, and YouTube, you're going to get a shout out personally from me. And as of right now, I don't have no new followers this time as I'm recording this podcast. So with that said, I'm going to be signing off. And again, happy Victory Monday, Jets fans. Let's just enjoy this. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting me on this podcast. If you're listening to this podcast for the first time, please do me a favor, wherever you're listening at, or whatever device that you're listening to, please go to X, Instagram, and YouTube and go to the search box and type my name at MHJetsFan83, which is one word, all lowercase. This episode and all of my previous episodes are on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. And they're also on my YouTube page as well, too, if you don't have any of the digital platforms. So you'll be able to actually see my nice and shining face on YouTube. And I need more followers. So if you guys can actually follow, share it with my fellow Jets fans, that would be greatly appreciated. So this channel could absolutely grow. So please hit the subscribe button and also hit the notifications button as well too. So when I publish brand new episodes, you will absolutely get a notification. So I will be back later on this week to preview the Week 16 matchup, a home game against the Los Angeles Rams at MetLife Stadium. So until then, enjoy the rest of your week. And as always, JETS, 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 Jets. Take care, and I'll see you soon.